All right, GM team. We just finished up a tempo run this morning. So hot out, like ridiculously warm. Like I'm talking where it has been like my heart rate running at marathon pace here in Miami was 191, which is like absurdly high. Nothing like I've never seen that. When I ran Eugene, the full marathon, my average heart rate through the whole thing was like 166. So I really, really firmly believe that heat training, and again, I haven't done altitude, so I can't speak on it, but heat training is so important for training your heart rate. The sun's literally right in my eyes right now, but I did 3 miles progressive with a couple of the fast guys today, and felt really good. I mean, I just PR'd a 5K like 2 days ago, so I wasn't really, working towards anything specifically. There's sun in my eyes, so I'm going to move this a bit. But essentially, I just pushed hard for like 6:45, I think it was, or it was like a 20-minute 3-mile workout. So very quick, 1 mile warm up, 1 mile cool down on the tempo. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about was the Miami Marathon and the breakdown of Miami, because it's only fitting given the fact that it's summer. It's literally 90 degrees every single minute here now, to go over Miami. And it was my first ever marathon. I did it in 3 hours and 17 minutes. I was extremely well prepared, very, very sober, no alcohol for a long time, going to bed early, eating right. And the biggest thing for me was like Bonkville, USA, which was mile 20 through 24. I'll say the logistics of Miami, for someone like me who lives here, I could walk to the start line, so I can't really speak on someone who's visiting or traveling to come run this marathon. But I've said it a couple times throughout the last 6 months or so, but I found that Miami, out of the 3 marathons that I've run, Boston, Eugene, and Miami's the hardest. Again, logistics-wise for me, I could walk to the start line. That was super easy. Kind of takes away from some of the, race day stress. Being able to take a shit before, or bowel movement, should I say, before the race, and just eating and all of the stuff that anybody else would normally stress through a race was kind of on the easier side here. The hometown race, so to speak. I think that if someone isn't from Miami and is from Boston or from Chicago or from California even, and comes to Miami thinking that they're going to go run a PR, this is not a PR town. It won't be. It's just too hot. Like, I've gotten advisories. This year I ran the Miami half. I did it in 1 hour and 29 minutes. It was a PR. But this year started off very gray. It would happen to be the hottest day of the year. It was like 85 degrees and very humid. You can't predict the weather here, but you can tell that I just did 3 miles. I'm soaking wet. It's not, for someone even who lives here and trains here, it's hard and your heart rate drastically changes. For people who are trying to come here and do a PR race for the long one, it just don't. Like, honestly, there's so many other races to run a better one in wintertime. There's Austin, there's Houston, there's a couple other ones in November, December. Chicago, October is a fall, I guess, but I guess the timing's different. I don't know of too many other January marathons. A lot of my teammates are doing Memphis, which is in December, 3 weeks prior to Christmas, I think first weekend of December. But the energy, there's a decent crowd up for like the first half, and then when you get to the back half of the race, it's just super lonely. Like, no crowd, limited tree cover. I felt like the aids, I don't remember, again, this was last January, so you're going back like 16 months now, 18 months. I don't remember there being that much aid station support on the back half of the race. I remember it being pretty solid in the first half, but once the half marathoners like finished up and you kind of went on your own, I felt that it was just lonely, extremely lonely, and There wasn't a ton of support. The energy's lackluster. I mean, it's a good city. I think that with all this being said, that was 2 years ago now, or 2 Januaries ago. I think that Miami as a city has blown up in running, like, just within the last 4 years that I've lived here. Whether it's post-COVID, whether there's a lot of people who were runners that moved down, like myself, who, I had started during COVID. I think a lot of people have the misconception that people who have good times or are running frequently are everyday runners, and they think they can't do it. But the reality is like, it takes one real dedicated month to get yourself into running shape. And when I say dedicated, I mean like eat, sleep, run. Like, you can't just kind of you got to lean into it. You can't just kind of bullshit it. But I'm trying to think of, like, on a personal race breakdown, mistakes I made from a first time marathoner: running with my phone, would never do that again. Only using caffeinated Martin gels, which is absolutely absurd. Like, you could only imagine the headache that I had. I feel like I had to wear sunglasses for the next 2 days afterwards, the headache that I had, the migraine that I had. I curled my ankle. I actually had shown it in one of the shorts. I sprained my ankle on mile 13. There was one pothole in the road and I stepped on it. Curled my ankle pretty badly. I was in PT for 5 to 7 weeks. I delayed the PT like an idiot because I didn't know any better. I just thought it would heal on its own. And that affected my Boston, obviously, which again I've talked about, but Boston was not an A race for me. I ran it in 3:33, and that was like 3 months after Miami. I came out too hot. I was very excited. It was my first ever marathon, and I was feeling the energy. I felt really strong. I underestimated the distance, which a lot of people do. Probably didn't hydrate enough. I think my food intake was fine. I didn't gel enough. I ran out of water. I had headphones in. Like, I would never do that now. There's a lot of things that I've learned just in the last 3 big ones that I think I'll continue to take that experience. You don't learn it until you do it. Having Miami be my first one, I think, was a great thing for me, because I still feel like it was the hardest race I'll run. Like, I don't think Chicago in October is going to be 85 degrees. Like, even 50 to 60 is going to be minty. If it's 40, like, my heart rate could be 150, depending on my training. The one thing I do like, or I don't like about Miami, is the timing, because you have the holidays before, so you're in the middle of your training block through November, December, which, there's the parties, there's New Year's, there's other shit going on, so it's kind of a distraction. I really, really like the April run. I really like the April timing. That's why I'm a huge proponent for Eugene. I think the West Coast is cool. The track vibe there is amazing. Tracktown USA, you see the Olympic trials and the NCAAs. I think it's this week that they've been going. Trying to think of what else that I went through in Miami. It was just a tough race. Like, I definitely bombed. Like, this past Eugene, I was like at 2021, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, why do I feel so good? Like, where's the bonk? Like, where's Bonkville, USA? I don't see it. I'm looking for it, and maybe that's just kind of like the trauma that I had, but I was pushing my fastest 2 miles were 21 and 22. I died on 21 and 22 in Miami. So you live and you learn. You make changes. You execute a little bit differently. And yeah, I would say I just came out. I worked too hard in the beginning. I just worked way too hard at the beginning of the race, and I don't suggest doing Miami, honestly. Like, I would do the half. Miami's a great city to run in. It's beautiful. You can see it well. You go over the bridges. It's a great way to see the city. The city's a party. People like to drink. They like to salsa dance. They like to eat. They like that there's like space. If you're into EDM and stuff, you can go there afterwards and party. I would just do the half. Like, make it like a fun trip and break up your winter if you're in a cold weather area. That's my advice. As far as what's on tap, still waiting for my coach Glenn to send me a 12-week plan. I have Europe coming up in a month. I'm doing southeast Italy for a friend's birthday, and I'm doing Nice and Monaco in France. So I will be in the middle of a training block there. So I'm excited to do some long runs in Europe. So I got to pack accordingly. Work's been a bunch lately, so it's definitely going to be a little bit of a tougher training block. I got a wedding in Boston as well later this month, so just trying to break 259 in Chicago, but still be able to maintain work life and social life balance. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, anything sub 259 I'll be happy with, but I think that it would be sweet to go for like a really aggressive like 250 or 255, just given the base level fitness that I have. I mean, that's kind of an overall like cumulative breakdown, but I always tend to digress from from the main subject, which was Miami. I could theoretically see it being a little bit of a logistical nightmare just because of the parking around that area. You'd probably want to Uber. The convention center is on South Beach, which is fine. You have all weekend to get there. It's smaller than it was in the past. So I don't know if like they just put it in a smaller hall and it's the same amount, so it looks more crowded, or if it's just smaller. So I don't know, but the race I know has sold out in the past. People are trading bibs around in this community, but definitely suggest the half, not the full. And that's my personal Miami half breakdown. Came out too fast, sprained my ankle, bonked at 20, very lonely on the back half. In my memory, minimal aid stations on the back half as well. So definitely not my favorite out of the three so far, and that's my take.